Hello, my name is Jemima Atar, and my PhD research is entitled Mapping Psychotherapeutic Elements Within Prenatal Classes and Understanding Psychotherapists' Viewpoints on both the prenatal period and prenatal classes. And in this video, I'm just going to be breaking that down and talking about the different stages of my research. So to begin, the first stage is the systematic review. I'm essentially going to be collating previous research that has been done on prenatal classes with a psychotherapeutic focus. And what I mean by that is I'm looking at classes that are geared towards expecting parents, but are to do with the more psychological aspects of parenting. So for example, the attachment between parents and their unborn children, rather than the practical side of parenting, such as classes on nappy changing and practical things like that. So I'm going to be collating the research that has been done on that. After that, I'll be doing some primary research, which will consist of focus groups with stakeholders. So, for example, psychotherapists who have worked with expecting parents, or parents who have previously attended prenatal classes. And those focus groups will inform a set of recommendations for prenatal classes that I will construct, and then I'll pilot those recommendations in various settings. And right now, my main focus is on the systematic review, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. The main rationale for conducting the systematic review is there have been systematic reviews that have been carried out on prenatal classes with a psychological focus, but there are a few issues with those systematic reviews. One is that they're not very broad in the outcomes they look at, so they'll look at prenatal classes and say, well, what's the impact of this prenatal class on maternal fetal attachment, rather than being more inclusive and saying, what's the impact of this class on parental fetal attachment or paternal fetal attachment. So they're not so inclusive in terms of their outcomes. Two, they're not so inclusive in terms of participants. So, for example, some systematic reviews have only looked at studies that recruit mothers who have only got one child, and so they're not that inclusive of a broader range of participants. And some of these systematic reviews, as well, as is evident on my poster, look at or make claims about certain interventions without defining those interventions properly. So some papers have looked at psychoeducation interventions without really explaining, okay, well, what counts as psychoeducation and what doesn't. And if you read those papers, you see that there's therapy in there, there's mindfulness in there is education in there as well, but it's not so clearly defined. And so I wanted to conduct a systematic review that was a little more forensic in its definitions of interventions, and more inclusive as well of a wide range of outcomes. And I've started that. I've searched 6 databases, I've removed duplicates, I have screened abstracts, and now I'm reading the full texts. And after that will inform my primary research, which, as I said, will be conducting focus groups, and that will be used to pilot a set of recommendations. And that is, in a nutshell, what my PhD research is, and the main focus, as I said, is the systematic review right now.